say and
Yeah. Yeah. Good evening, all. So myself, I'm Vijay. I hold 17 plus years of experience, which includes nearly 8 plus years of experience in Python environment. So my experience includes design, development, and implementation of Python and Django-based applications. Well versed in implementing different Python libraries like NumPy.
Sorry. Hello.
Yes.
Sorry, sir. Sir, your voice was not clear. Can you please raise your voice?
So my experience includes design, development, and implementation of Python and Django-based applications. So well-versed in implementing different libraries like NumPy, CP, Pandas, PyTables, Matplotlib, URLlib, etc. And experience in implementing large-scale business critical systems using object-oriented design and programming and developing varieties of web applications, including MVT architecture using server-side applications, right? So once again, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear or not, whether my screen is visible or not before I start, right?
Yes, screen is visible. Voice is clear.
Fine, thank you. So I'm just going to cover the following topics as part of today's demo, right? So I'll be taking today and tomorrow, right? 2 days to demonstrate about this entire Python. So today the demo goes for the next 1.5 hours. So I will be giving time for your general queries at the end of the session. And also I'll be briefing you about how the training goes, right? Fine. So these are the topics that I'm going to cover, right? Why Python? Already we got many programming languages, right? Why again Python required? Who can learn Python? What are the prerequisites for learning Python, right? And how Python was built and how Python was derived, right? And Python real-time applications. What kind of applications we can develop today by using Python? Python mostly used for developing what kind of applications? Python usage and Python features, right? Which companies are using Python and what are topmost applications built by using Python, and Python comparison with other programming, right? Can just check coding wise also we can compare it, lengthwise, coding wise, complexity wise, you can just compare and check how this Python code looks. And Python is not a kind of technology which is very recently introduced, right? It was introduced almost like 30 years ago. Why all of a sudden Python is suddenly super popular? Reasons why Python is suddenly super popular, right? And Python scope and job market. What is the scope of Python? So current job market of Python and in the coming years also, it's not like a kind of technology which go with for 1 or 2 years and going away from the market. Python is such, it's not a kind of technology which is, so it still remains, right? So a lot of, if you see, a lot of applications are getting developed today by using Python. So widely used today is Python is the #1 ranked programming language with wide varieties of applications development, right? So the job market of Python and the scope of Python in the coming years, right? First, I'll start with why Python. So I define Python in 5 lines, right? I define Python in 5 lines. General purpose. Okay, before I go with all this, right, first let me show you, right, why Python, why most of the programmers or developers are attracted towards Python, right? What are the main reasons, and also that reasons why Python is suddenly super popular, right? Yes. Fine. So mainly in Python we see very less coding, right? Very less coding in Python. Not even 1/4 coding as compared with other programming languages. I will demonstrate you in the tomorrow session, right, by taking examples, right, the coding of Python as compared with other programmings, right? So you can just check lengthwise, complexity wise, right, how this Python statements look like normal English statements. They are not as complex, right, as other programming, right? Simple and easy syntaxes, simple syntaxes given by Python. Simple syntaxes. Okay, fine. And the other major advantage of Python, right? Multi-programming features. Multi-programming features. Okay. What all the programming features we see in different other programmings, right? Everything you can see within this Python, right? What are like object-oriented programming features, procedural-oriented features, scripting features, modular programming features. That's the reason we call Python as a hybrid language, right? We call Python as a hybrid language. And one more major advantage, like just like how you communicate, how you interact with your friends, right? In similar manner, I can interact with Python statement by statement. It gives response for each and every statement, right? Interactive mode. Python provides interactive mode. This feature you cannot see in other programming like C or Java, right? Interactive mode. For example, at the bottom search panel, just I'll go to the command prompt by typing CMD. Yes, command prompt. So just I'll type Python here. It displays the Python version. Just observe Python 3.10.4 is the version that we are using. You can see this 3 arrow symbol. Any valid Python statements you can type here, right? And you can interact with Python statement by statement. Any valid statements. 4 plus 5, I'm saying, right? Yes. 5 into 7, it gives the response. We no need to define data types in Python. Directly we can say x as 10, y as 5. Just say what is the x value. If you say, right, it gives the response. What is y value? What is x plus y value? What is x minus y value? What is x into y? X by y, right? Any valid Python statements you can type and you can interact with it statement by statement, right? Okay. Interactive mode supported by Python as compared means for learning Python and for developing code and for as a beginner to learn Python, right? This interactive mode works better. So this interactive mode especially designed for to test the functionalities of Python. If it doesn't have any knowledge about any particular functionality of Python, you can just type that on this interactive mode and check what response it provides, and you can analyze it, the functionality of that. Okay, and wide varieties of applications, right? Wide varieties of applications can be developed by using Python, right? Okay. So today, if you observe, Python used for different applications like automation applications, web applications, animation applications, gaming applications, embedded applications, networking applications, desktop applications. So in this way, wide varieties of applications. Even today, if we see in every high-end technology for implementation, we are using Python, right? Okay, for example, like data science for implementation goes in Python. Data science with Python, big data with Python means I say like Spark with Python, PySpark, right? And if you see like writing some kind of automation scripts within this AWS or DevOps, right? Or in this IoT or robotics, okay, we write scripting using Python. Fine. And web applications creations using Python, right? Wide varieties of applications and many built-in libraries, right? Many built-in libraries. We no need to write huge codings or tasks using Python. Already we have got many built-in libraries like modules, methods, functions are available, right? Many built-in libraries using which we can perform the operations in a simpler, many built-in libraries. Okay. And it's a high-level language. Python is a high-level language, right? High-level language. Okay. 1 second. Yes. Fine. High-level language. So there are two types of languages. 1 second. There. Two types of languages. Okay. Low level languages and high level languages. And high level languages. Low level languages, example like assembly level or machine level language, right? These languages mainly they are not human understandable. They are not human understandable. These languages are not portable. And these languages are machine dependent. They cannot run on all the hardwares and all the operating systems, right? Machine dependent, right? Yes. But high level languages like Python, high level language like Python, right? They are human understandable. They are portable and machine independent. They can run on all the hardwares and all the operating system, right? Yes, observe. Human understandable. They are portable and machine independent. They can run on all the hardwares and all the operating systems, right? Yes. Okay. It's a high level language, very less coding, simple and easy syntaxes, multi-programming features, interactive mode, wide varieties of applications. It is a cross-platform language. It is a cross-platform language, right? It can run on any platform, right? It can run on any platform, Windows, Linux, Mac OS, right? It's a cross-platform language which can run on any operating system. Okay, fine. Programmer friendly, user friendly or programmer friendly programming, right? Programmer friendly programming, right? User friendly or programmer friendly programming, which provides simple and easy syntaxes, which looks like normal English statement. So these are the reasons which makes Python suddenly super popular, right? So mainly like simple syntaxes, wide varieties of applications, many built-in libraries, right? Very less coding you are going to see. That's the reason many programmers or developers are attracted towards Python, right? Yes. So because of this multi-programming features, we call Python as a hybrid language, right? Yes. So Python has taken the features. Python has got features, right? Python has procedural oriented programming features, right? It has got the features of procedural oriented programming. Okay. Example like C language, right? It has got the features of C language. It takes, and it has got object oriented programming features, right? Example like C++, right? C++, or if you talk like Java, right? Yes. And it has got scripting features. It has got what? Scripting features. Example like shell script. And find mainly like modular programming features. Modular programming features, right? Yes. Example like modular 3. Okay. If you talk about the programming language like Java, right? Java. The Java programmers or developers are strictly restricted to use only object-oriented programming features. Without object-oriented programming, there is no Java application, right? Like without class and object concept, there is no Java application. But in Python, with object-oriented, without object-oriented, with procedural-oriented, with modular programming, we can develop many varieties of applications, right? There is no restriction in Python to use only object-oriented programming, right? So even if you talk about the two major programming languages today in the market, right? Java and Python, both are used for enterprise application development. If you see, if you go back like 10 to 15 years back, right? If you see the usage of Python and Java, if you talk, if you see 2010, if you talk about 2010, right? Java mostly used in the industry. It's like 43% usage in the industry, right? Yes. Python in 2010, just 4% used. 10, if you say 2020, 10 years later, right? So I'll just show you the graphs at the end of the session, like the usage of Python and Java in the industry with the graphs in the Google, right? Java 19% used currently, right? The usage of Python has increased a lot in various high-end technologies and application development. It is 31%, right? Yes. Fine. And we are scripting, right? We are going to see many, we are going to write many automation scripts using Python, right? Okay. And modular programming, because of this modular programming, Python has got a great boom in today's market, right? Where we see the concept of modules. We see concept of modules, right? Nearly 89,300 inbuilt modules Python providing for various domains. Whatever domain you are from, right? Python provides modules, right? Yes. 89,300 inbuilt modules Python providing for various domains. For example, modules. For data science, Python is providing separate modules, right? Separate modules Python is providing. Okay. Like if you see NumPy module, Pandas module, CP module, Scikit-learn. In this way, for different plottings and visualizations, right? Please be in mute. I request everyone to please, Srilata, please be in mute. Separate models Python provides not only for data science environment, whatever domain you are from, like big data environment, separate modules Python providing for every environment. And for networking, Python providing separate modules for this networking environment. One second. Okay, for networking applications. And not only modules, right? Separate framework Python is providing for networking, network programming, and network applications like Twisted Python, right? And for testing or test cases, Python providing separate modules. And for OS kinds of activities for operating system, OS operating system, right? So the name of the module itself is OS. You can perform any OS related activities using this module, right? And if you're from database background, right, Python provides a module for each and every database, right? If you wants to connect with database like Oracle database, right? Yes, if you want Python to connect with Oracle database, a separate module Python providing like cx_Oracle module, right, to connect with Oracle. It's not as complex as other programming languages, right? Connecting with databases in Python, just the module and just the connecting parameters, username and password is enough, right, to connect with a database. For any database like Oracle or for MySQL, Python providing separate module, right, like PyMySQL or MySQL.connector for this. And even for SQL server, right, for every database it is providing a module using which you can connect and you can work with any SQL related kinds of operations, right? Okay. For SQL server, PyODBC is the module that Python provides. Means just by writing Python statements, I'll write Python statement and execute it, right? Go and check in your database, table gets created, data gets inserted. You can perform all that operations by writing Python statements and executing them. The reflection you can see within the database, right? And here, and if you want mathematical kinds of operations, the name of the model itself is math, all mathematical kinds of operations. And if you want to work with any kind of file formats, Excel files, like we have got models like Excel RD module, Excel SX writer module, like work with for reading. I want to create an Excel workbook, a Excel file by writing Python statements and executing it. Go and check at whatever location and whatever name you have provided, a Excel workbook or file gets created. And I want to insert data into, I can create multiple Excel sheets by writing Python statements itself. Sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 4. Into sheet 3, I want to insert a data, right, by writing Python statements. I want to read data from sheet 2. I can perform these things. All this, okay, reading and writing into this Excel files. Not only Excel files or XML files, then for XML file also, right, we have got separate module Python provides to read and write data from this and creating Excel. Not only like XML files, like PDF files. We can create PDF files by writing Python statements. We can read data from it and we can write data into it, right? And like CSV files, comma separated values, CSV files, JSON files, JavaScript object notation, right? For every file format, right, Python providing a model. For JSON, JavaScript object notation, key and value pair, right? We can create JSON files by writing Python statements, and we can read data and we can write data into this, right? Yes. And for example, if you want to generate any kinds of graphs, right, like normal graphs, bar graphs, histograms, scatter plots, tag plots, pie graph, right, any kind of graphs you can generate by using Python, right? In tomorrow's sessions, I'll show you how simple generating graphs using Python, using models, right? Yes. Using models have got inbuilt functions using which directly we can perform those operations. And for statistics, we have got many static. Okay, stat models are available for perform. In this way, like thousands of models Python is providing, right? 89,300 inbuilt models Python provides, not only for computer applications, even for electronics or civil background, also Python providing models for those, right? Now, what kind of applications we can develop today by using Python, right? What kind of applications? Python real-time applications, right? What kind of applications can be developed by using Python? One second. Python real-time applications. How Python was built and how Python was derived means it has taken the features from this procedural oriented, means it has taken advantages from multiple programming languages and it was built or derived, right, from procedural oriented, from object oriented, just like it's a kind of programming language which is attracting the, okay, just like if you want to launch a new product into the market, right, think that you want to launch a mobile phone into the market. To attract the customers, what features you want to see within it? The features what we see in different other mobiles, everything, if you are embedding into a single piece, right, it's going to attract the customers. The same way Python is such a kind of programming where we can see the features of many other programming languages, right? And Python is a general purpose programming language, right? See, I can just include one more: general purpose programming. General purpose programming, right? Yes. So before Python, there were some languages, right? Like we have got languages like Pascal, Fortran, COBOL. So these languages are purpose-based languages. They are used for specific purposes. Pascal, Fortran for complicated mathematical applications and for scientific applications. COBOL for business applications. These are purpose-based languages. They are not for all. They are not used for all the purposes. They are used for a specific purpose, right? So these are purpose-based languages, we say. But Python is not purpose-based. Any kind of applications we can develop. Python is a general purpose programming language, right? So a language which is suitable for developing any type of application, such a language we call it as general purpose programming language. So Python is such a kind of programming using which we can develop any kind of applications, right? Okay. Now, Python real-time applications. I'll just list out that one by one applications of Python. I'm sorry. Python real-time applications. Python mostly used today in creation of automation applications, web applications, right? Web applications. Today, Python mostly used in creation of web applications. You may ask, right? We have already got languages. We have got Java, .NET, PHP, mostly used for creation of web applications. From the last 20 to 25 years, they are used for creation of web applications. Why again Python now, right? So Python at a rapid speed, we can develop a web application, right? Using frameworks like the Django framework. We have got many frameworks for Python, right? Django, Flask, Pyramid, Bottle, TurboGear, right? In this way, we have got many frameworks. The most famous framework like Django framework, where it provides flexible features for developing this web application, where it has got inbuilt database, SQLite 3, right? And it has got its own application server. So at a rapid speed, we can develop application using Python, right? Python mostly used today in creation of web applications, right? Apart from this, Python mostly used in creation today, mostly used in creation of automation applications, right? Automation applications. Okay. Using technologies like data science, using technologies like IoT, and using technologies like AWS DevOps, right? Okay, like many automation applications can be developed, right? Using this data science, IoT, DevOps. If we talk about this IoT, right? So today, if you see IoT, Internet of Things, to everything through internet, right? Everything through online. Like if you see like online banking, online shopping, online examinations, online education, e-learning, online business like e-commerce, like online communication like audio, video chatting, online gaming, everything through online, right? The usage has increased a lot. Like you have seen like smartphones or smart TVs. You are going to see like smart homes and smart cities, right? By using this automation, IoT and data science, right? So if I define IoT, it is a physical network or device embedded with electronics, softwares, and sensors and network connectivity for collecting data, exchanging data, and controlling the things from the place where you are, right? In a simple way, I can say IoT is a electronic devices connecting and communicating with each other, right? Accessed by using a smartphone or a computer, right? So in this, using this IoT, right, most of the coding goes in Python, right? So most of the coding we do in Python. And if you come to this data science, right, everything deals with the data. Data has got experience, it has got future reference. Using data or data science, right, we provide data analysis, data predictions, data classifications, data clustering, data recommendations, right? So it's a blend of technique. Data science is a blend of technique. The main technique what we see in data science, machine learning, right? We see machine learning. It's a blend of technique. The main technique what we see is machine learning, right? Where exactly Python used within this, right? If I demonstrate, I'll take 1 minute or two, like to demonstrate where exactly we go for Python, right? So without entering into the technicals of this machine learning or this, right? Just observe. Machine learning, it's an approach where we provide data patterns to an application, right? We provide some data patterns to an application. Yes, we provide some data patterns to an application and making the application to predict in the automated fashion. Machine learning, the name itself saying, right, we are making the machine to learn by providing some data patterns, providing data patterns to an application and asking to predict it by an automated fashion. A very small example, right, how it get trained. And for example, if you take example of a bank has got 1,000, okay, it has provided loans to 1,000 customers. Out of this 1,000 customers, 600 they are paying the loans regularly, 400 they are not paying the loans. Okay, so tomorrow, like if 100 new customers approaching for a loan, my application need to predict, right, to whom to approve, to whom to reject. How it gets trained? In a simple way, I say, right, so the 600 people who are paying, they have got some common features. I'm just grouping them as X features, like their age, their income, their financial status, all this I'm grouping them as X features. Using these features, right, okay, and those who are not paying, right, they have got some common features. I'm grouping all those features as Y features. Using these X and Y features, just I'm going to train that application, right? I'm providing the patterns to the application based on which the application tomorrow, like if 100 new customers are approaching, right, out of this 100, 30 has got X features, 70 has got Y features. To whom to approve, to whom to reject, means the previous data or the previous history is saying that people with X features can pay the loan, so approve the loans for this, reject the loans for this, because the history is saying people with Y features cannot pay the loans. So who is doing this? Application. How application performing? It got trained. Who is training this? Providing data patterns. The person who trains this application, we call him as a data scientist. So in a simple way, I said, but a lot of internal things like life cycle is involved here. So this is not part of our discussion. So we have got many machine learning techniques, ML techniques, right? Regression techniques, classification, clustering, recommendations, pattern matching techniques, all these techniques to implement, right? To implement or to code, we require a language. So Python is the mostly chosen or mostly used programming for this machine learning or deep learning kinds, okay, implementing this. So where Python is providing many models towards this machine learning or data science environment, like NumPy, CP, Pandas, CP, scikit-learn. In this way, many models Python is providing for this data science environment. So that the first one is what? Data science in IoT, or even within this DevOps environment, right? Today, like Python, we are writing many scripts. So not only these things, right? So Python serves as the remedy to problems in the IT industry. So when we are coming to this DevOps side, right? So the ultimate goal here in DevOps, right, is to reduce the time taken in DevOps lifecycle in improving the efficiency. Here it offers a structural solutions in terms of automating the tasks. If you see the stages in this DevOps, right, requirement gathering, system design, or system implementation, or system testing, system deployment, or maintenance, right? So I can say Python is one of the best scripting languages with vast varieties of Python libraries. Okay, fine. So in automation applications, Python is mostly preferred. And apart from this, what are the various other applications like today, like big data environment? Python so used in this big data environment. Just I'll take a minute or two to just say where exactly Python used within this big data environment, right? So the name itself saying that big data are huge volumes of data, right? Today, if we say like how the data is getting generated, data storage units, right? Like KBs of data, MBs of data, GBs of data, TB, terabytes, petabytes, exabytes, zettabytes, etabytes, sotabytes, so on, right? So from TB onwards, we say it as big data, huge data, right? You should have seen KBs, MBs, GBs, or TBs of data. But do you think like petabytes of data, is it getting generated in the current real world? We have seen TBs, but petabytes, 1 petabyte equal to 1024 TBs. Already 1 TB is a large storage unit, right? Okay. But petabytes or exabyte, is it getting generated? Means yes. Talk example of that social media like Facebook, right? It has got millions and trillions of users throughout the world. In a minute, how many posts and videos are getting circulated? What should be the storage capacity of Facebook? What is the data generated by Facebook in a minute, not in MBs or GBs, right? So huge data getting generated, not only like Facebook, right? Today, if you see any application generating huge data, if I just take 1 minute transaction itself, it is generating huge data, right? If we take example of Facebook, huge data generation, right? If you take the example of a Twitter tweets, keeps on generating, right? Keeps on generating. See about what is the data generated by Google in a minute, huge data, right? Today, everyone creating your own videos and uploading in the YouTube, right? What should be the storage capacity of YouTube to store all those videos? Huge data generation. Or even if I see like millions and trillions of users using email or Gmail messages. Or if you talk about the bank transactions, so lakhs of branches, millions of customers making multiple transactions, right? Or if you talk about the telecom transactions, or if you talk about the e-commerce sites, right? E-commerce sites like Flipkart or Amazon, everywhere you see huge data generation in petabytes. So for this, we have got some big data tools available for storing the data and handling or processing this data, right? Like big data, Hadoop, big data, Spark, right? So used for huge data storage and huge data processing. Okay. So for this Hadoop and Spark, right? Hadoop and Spark. We use languages like Scala. We use languages like Python, right? We use languages like Scala. We use languages like Python, right? Yes. So especially Spark is a very high speed processing where it has got great boom today. Spark implementation with Scala, Spark with Python, right? Okay, Spark with Python. Spark with Python. We say it like PySpark, right? Yes. Spark with Python. So even in big data environment, right? Yes. Python is used, right? Okay. Now I'll just brief you. I'll list out the various other applications, right, one by one, right? So Python mostly used in scientific applications. Scientific applications, right? Yes. And apart from that, Python used in GUI, graphical user interface or animation applications. We have got PyQt, we have got modules like PyQt, TK inter modules, and Python mostly used today for game development, right? For game development, many games are getting developed by using Python. Game development, many like online games, single user, multi-user games, especially for game development, Python providing a framework called Pygame. Pygame is a framework given by Python, especially for game development. Not only Pygame, we have got like PyChara, right? PyChara, it's one more framework given by Python for developing games. Not only that, we have got some 3D rendering libraries, right? Like PySoy, right? Yes. Apart from this, Python can also be used for scheduling tasks. Okay, we have got Airflow for it, and for testing or test cases, right? Python is preferred. And apart from this, Python can also be used in the software development, right? Yes. Software development. So software developers make use of Python as a support language, right? So if we talk like we use BuildBot, Apache Gump for automated compilation and testing, Roundup Track for project management and bug tracking, right? So we use Python as a support language, and apart Python mostly used in this business applications. Python is one of the best choice to develop e-commerce systems, e-commerce websites, right? And one of the other hottest application of Python, like database applications, right? Okay, it can connect with any database like MySQL, Oracle, PostgreSQL, SQL Server, etc. It can connect with any database and we can perform the operations, right? And also used for network applications, right? Yes, networking applications or network programming. So for this, a framework, Python providing a framework, Twisted Python is a framework given by Python for developing networking kinds of applications, right? For scheduling, for test cases, for software development, for business applications, for database applications, networking applications. Apart from this, Python also used in audio and video applications, creation of audio and video applications, right? So some of the famous audio and video applications developed by using Python, like Team Player, CPlay, etc., right? And also Python used for web scraping, right? Web scraping data or harvesting data or extracting data from different websites. If data in database, you will query it. If data are not in the database, you are going to scrap it from the different websites, right? Scrapping. We have got module like URL lib, like Beautiful Soup, right? Web scraping. Audio and video applications, not only for computer applications, I said Python, or this we've got for electronics or civil environment, right? For like embedded applications, right? So the most famous embedded application, Raspberry Pi, right? Raspberry Pi, which uses Python for its computing, right? Yes. And also like for CAD applications, or 3D CAD applications, right? Python is computer-aided designing. Apart from this, right, for computer vision, right? Yes. For face detections, for color detections and object detections, Python is preferred. And for robotics, right? Right. For data analysis and for generating graphs, right? Yes. For all this, right? So these are the topmost applications, right? Mostly used in automation, mostly used in big data, in web applications, in gaming applications, like in business applications, database applications, networking. Apart from this, even for desktop applications, right? Single user console applications also, right? Desktop applications. So these are the wide varieties of applications for Python, right? Yes. It is not confined to a particular environment. It is not purpose based, I said. It is general purpose programming, means it's suitable for developing any kind of application, right? Yes. And okay, who are using Python today? Who are using Python? Who are using Python today? Right. And which companies are you? And topmost applications, right? Built by using Python. Topmost applications built by using Python, right? Yes. So I'll just list out one by one what are that who are using and topmost applications built by using Python. So Google, right? Google using Python for its web search systems. Yahoo using Python, right? YouTube using Python for its video sharing service. Uber pricing algorithm, right? Implemented by using Python, right? Instagram built by using Python. NASA using Python because of its Python hybrid features, right? It using Python for its research and development activities. And we have got some applications like Dropbox, Pinterest, Quora, Reddit, BitTorrent using Python for its file sharing service, and Maya, a powerful 3D animation, uses Python scripting. MMOG, massively multiplayer online games. Yes, Netflix using Python for its security automation and for subscription purpose, right? Yes, Netflix. iRobot for military and commercial applications, right? Python is used. Iron Port email server, right? Iron Port email server. Right? It uses more than 1 million lines of Python code for doing its job. Hardware testing, right? Companies like IBM, Seagate, Qualcomm, all this, they use Python for hardware testing, right? Yes. So these are some of those, right? Who are which applications built by using Python and who are using Python today. Google is one of the best example, right? Greatest examples of Python web applications. So the first Google web crawling was written in Java, but it was too difficult that it was rewritten in Python again. Netflix, I was saying that it is for security automation and for subscription. Netflix using Python libraries like PP, NumPy for executing this numerical analysis, right? Fine. Dropbox, the home for all your documents, files, photos, and videos, right? Yes. Reddit, the collection of social news and web content, right? And Instagram built by using Python. The prime reason for Instagram to opt for Python is its efficiency and its practicality, right? Yes. So these are topmost applications built by using Python. Fine. The usage of Python, right? The usage of Python today, right? Okay, so just I'll take some 15-20 minutes more. So just observe these things, right? Python comparison with other programming, right? Python comparison with other programming. Okay, just check this, right? If you want to compare Python with other programming, right? Coding wise, you can check, length wise, complexity wise, you can check. Those who are from non-programming, right? You can just observe this, right? How the coding of Python looks as compared with other programming, right? Yes. Fine. So before this, right, just I'll come back to this, but before this, I was showing the usage of Python in the industry, right? Python and Java, which are the top most programming. Just you can Google and check, right? Just Google and check. Top popular coding language, right? Popular coding language in 2020, right? Popular coding language in 2020-21, right? So you can see. Okay, Python stands being truly the user-friendly and easy to learn programming, right? Number one ranked programming, right? Number one ranked programming. Python stands out to be the user-friendly and easy to learn programming language. You can just check it, right? It is number one ranked programming. Top 10 programming languages, right? Yes. Python stands first. Next comes JavaScript, Java. Now observe this. Most popular programming languages used by top 25 unicorns. Python stands first. Next comes Java, JavaScript. The most popular programming languages. Python stands first. Next comes Java. Next other, right? JavaScript. If you see here, the most popular programming languages, Python, next JavaScript or Java. Python remains the most popular programming language, right? Python, next Java, JavaScript. So if you see from the last 4-5 years, right? Yes, if you see this blue color, dark blue color, 2017, right? And orange color, 2018, right? This hash color, 2019, and 2020 is this light blue, right? So year by year, there is a huge increase in this Python usage, right? Yes, in the coming years, still you can see much more increase in this Python. If you see the language rank, right? If you see the language rank, observe this. Python stands number one ranked programming, right? Python. So next comes Java, C, the other programmings, right? Yes. Popularity of programming language ranking 2020, right? Yes. Top. Okay, so what is that? Most popular programming? See, a ranking based on average salary and ranking based on their job openings, right? Python stands number one rank, right, in their average salary and their job openings. And so here, so because of this widely used number one ranked programming hybrid features, right? Python is mostly chosen today in implementing different high-end technologies and also creating of varieties of web applications, right? Fine. Okay, fine. So, and I'll just let you know, right, what are the course content I'm going to discuss as part of this course, right? Starting from the basics to the advanced level, right? Starting with Python, like installation, step by step, how to download and how to install Python, and working with. So we, in real time, we go for IDEs, right? Integrated development environments like PyCharm, PyDev, Komodo, Spider, Eclipse, NetBeans, Jupyter, Atom, VS Code, right? So I'll be showing you, right, all these IDs, how to download, how to install, how to write and execute the code on all these IDs, right? So that tomorrow, if you go to any environment, you can just work on those, right? Fine. And starting with the basics, right, from the ground level to the advanced application oriented way, like mainly like three things, like Python core, Python advanced, and application oriented models. Three things. starting from that variables, data type defining, uh, loops, flow controls, collections, list operations, list indexing, list functions, list methods, nested list. Similarly for tuple, sets, dictionaries. Okay, just you can go through this, right? Just so Python, right? Python basics can see in this Durgasoft site, right? Yes. Python basics, why Python, history, applications, features, advantages, versions, flavors of Python, right? Comparison with other programming, Python operations, variables, constants, data types, input, output, right? Escape sequences, strings, operators in Python, right? Different types of arithmetic in comparison, logical, assignment, shorthand, right? Bitwise membership, right? Different IDEs, like working with different IDEs like PyCharm, Jupyter, Spider, Eclipse, NetBeans, right? Spider IDEs. Flow control statements, right? Yes. Flow control statements, if else. Okay, fine. Okay, flow control statements, loopings, right? Strings in Python, string handling, like string indexing, string slicing, string functions, string methods, string special characters, right? Lot of discussion on strings. Collections in Python, right? Lists, list indexing, list slicing, list functions, list methods, list addresses, nested lists, working with list, right? Tuples also the same way, indexing, slicing, functions, methods. Tuple sets, tuple Python dictionaries, functions in Python, right? Different defining functions, categories, arguments like default, non-default, keyword, non-keyword, arbitrary, variable length arguments, and different types of functions like lambda functions, filter function, map function, reduce function. Modules in Python, how to work with modules, how to import modules, different ways of importing, renaming a model, reloading a model, and how to create our own modules in Python. So I'll be showing you like some different models related to different environments, right? Some models related to data science, I'll be showing you some models related to big data, some models related to graphics, some related to operating systems, right? So in this way, I'll be showing you many models related to different environments, right? Yes. So like packages, right? Packages, collection of modules and errors and exceptions, types of errors, syntax, runtime errors, file handling, how to read data from files, write data to a files, various file handling techniques, object-oriented programming features in brief, right? Class, object, inheritance, polymorphism, static, non-static, constructor, destructor, garbage collector, types of inheritance, right? Regular expressions, how to extract data from the given data, right? Yes, using functions. Okay. Database access, right? Database access, Python database connection, how to connect with the database. I'll show you the installation of one database, right? I'll be showing you the installation of one database, how to connect with database, how Python can interact with the database, various database, and Python datetime module, right? Date and time. Okay, calendar module, datetime module, right? Operating system model, how to work with different OS kinds of activities, advanced concepts like Python, iterator, generator, closer, decorator, web scraping, and working with CSV, JSON, XML files, and graphic model like GUI programming with different fonts, colors, buttons, message boxes, right? And working with Excel workbook, how to create Excel workbook with multiple Excel sheets, inserting data, reading data from this, okay? Different models. And for data analytics, right? Pandas module, NumPy, Matplotlib with working examples, right? Also providing introduction to the data science, like machine learning introduction, supervised, unsupervised learning, statistical analysis, data analysis, correlation analysis, algorithms, right? And Python pandas in brief, in depth, right? How to create like pandas data frames from a list, from series, from CSV files, Excel files, JSON files from databases, pandas date functionality like pandas data frames from time delta, converting data frames from list, converting to different pandas in matplotlib, right? Yes, many working examples. And numpy model also in brief, right? Numpy indexing, numpy flattening, reshaping, iterations, array manipulations, linear algebra, string functions, and matplotlib for plottings and visualizations, generating different types of graphs, like generating graphs, normal plottings, nearly 30 topics I'll be discussing, right? Nearly like 75 to 80 hours, like we discussed for 2 to 2.5 months. This entire thing in brief, you can see the syllabus, right, which is huge. Everything I'll be typing and showing you, right? Not like bringing some pre-written code and just explaining, it won't happen. So everything, how to build the code, how to develop the code, right? And for every week I'll be giving some kinds of assignments topic wise. So getting the output is not the criteria here, right? So you need to be able to build your own code, and getting at the end of the course you will be getting command on this Python, right? Yes. So, and every session is video recorded, so you will be getting the recordings also of these videos that day itself. You can just analyze it, check it, and clear notes topic wise it will be provided to you. Okay, fine. Okay, videos I said already, if you are absent because of the ill health or because of some office work, still you can go to the video of that session and attend the next session, right? Yes, fine. Okay, that is what and tomorrow also people can attend the session same time, 7:30, and using the same link to see more on this Python, right? I'll be showing like Python comparison with other programming language, coding wise, length wise, complexity wise. You can check how simple this Python statements will be. Fine. So as it's a demo session, right, most of the time I'm speaking, right? But in normal sessions, right, you can attend next 2 or 3 sessions, right, everyone, to see how the training levels goes, right? And the sessions will be like interactive sessions, right? So from both the sides, for each and every statement I've typed, you will be responding, right? What will be the expected results, right? Fine. So any queries from your side, you can go ahead with your queries. If you have got any, you can just type in the chat panel. Again, you can unmute yourself every way. In all the sessions, you'll be in unmuted status. You can just unmute yourself and you can just interact, right? So you can go ahead with your queries now if you have got queries related to this Python course. And right. And also it's an offer batch, right? It's an offer batch. Just we are giving Python, so for just 50% of discount, right? It's for just 5,000 we are providing Python, right? With huge syllabus. And if anybody wants to go to frameworks of Python like Django also, right? We can, will be going with that also, right? Yes, there is an offer for that also, who wants to like a combo package for this Django and Python, right? So any queries from your side, you can just type in the chat panel. Otherwise, you can unmute yourself and you can ask your queries through voice, right?
Mr. Vijay, like, do you have Django in this course content?
So actually, okay, it's totally like Python and Python core advanced and application oriented models. But okay, there is as said by the DURGASOFT, right? 1 second. So even after this Python completion, as part of this Python and Django is a separate, right? Django is separate for it. Okay. So for this, I'm going to take like 2 to 2.5 months, right? And Django is also a 2 months course, right? If you want, you can parallelly attend both. Fine. So here totally what I discussed is Python. Later, if you want to go with Django web applications creations, means total implementation of Python you can see in Django, right? Where we'll create varieties of web applications, right? Here I'll be discussing So as said by this DURGASOFT, right? It's an offer for both of you of 5 and 5, like 10,000, but the combo package is for 9K, right? So if you want to go for Python, you can go for Python. If anybody choosing Django, right? We'll be discussing Django. So Django will be having, I'll be just discussing before we go with the Django web applications creations, I'll be covering HTML, right? For creating a web page or creating web application, right? The technologies that you require, the prerequisites, that also I'll be discussing, right? HTML, CSS, cascading style sheets, JavaScript, and Bootstrap. As before we go with Django, next Django. So Django applications and so here Django, using this technology and using this Django framework, right? I'll be showing you like 25 applications creations, 25 applications creations, right? Yes. And this 25 applications, application 1, 2, 3, like how to create it. And
Hello, Vijay. I have
Yeah.
one query regarding there's any means
let me
regular expression.
one second. Let me complete this. Okay, I'll go with your query, right? Yes. So here I'll be just going with this, right? HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, like Django framework. It's 25 applications I'll be showing you, right? Which will be going parallelly. You people will be doing these applications parallelly along with me, right? You'll be developing applications, means I'll be asking you to do along with me, whether you are attending through offline, online, right? You'll be doing along with me. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. Once you got the output for application 1, we go with application 2, application 3, application 4, right? Yes. So in this way, 25 applications will be discussed as part of this Django course, right? And Python. So fine. Yeah, some query was asked, right? Yes.
Vijay, and regarding the regular expression, will you teach us regular expression with
Yes.
Python?
Yes, right. Here I said, right, regular expressions, you got it.
Because my requirement is that I have to extract data from the txt format to Excel or web page.
Yes, it's not small tasks only, right? Those things are very small tasks. So
So
here,
there is a one table of in that data in text format. I have to extract the data and I have to paste it into the that Excel sheet in a tabular format or in a web page
yes,
in HTML format. So is it possible?
possible, right? Okay, here using regular expressions we can do. Also, we have got separate models available for those.
Okay.
So here regular expressions, right? We will be discussing in brief in both all this, right? Internally, we have got many tasks, right, to be discussed within this regular expressions. Extracting data from the required data, right? What only the specific data what you want from it. We have got many built-in functions: find all, find ITR, sub, match, search, right? For extracting those, right? So any other queries, right? Anyone, right?
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Sir, in the C, C++ is a standalone application, is right?
Yes.
Sir, in the Java or .NET is a standalone application and web applications.
So like see one second. Python was introduced in the year 1989, right? Java came into the market in 1995. When Java came into the market, the first distributed, that is what charting application came into the market. When Java was introduced in the year 1995, the first charting or distributed application came into the market, right? So using those, we can develop many distributed applications, right? Yes. So even using Python also, we can develop those things.
Sir, in Java, both standalone application and web application, what is the main that, sir?
You can develop both normal standalone applications and everything you can develop using Java.
Sir, I have one more.
Standalone like single user applications, standard desktop applications, right? And multi-user applications or distributed applications can be created by using Java and by using Python also, right? Python has got this, both are supporting object-oriented programming features.
Sir, I have one more doubt also, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Sir, in C in C++ in the game also develop the gaming. In Python also develop the gaming. Which one is better? C++ is better for gaming.
C++ only you can see some console kind of applications, right? And but in Python, separate frameworks are given for game development, like a single user, multi-user games you can develop, right? I mean, in a very simple manner. And like Pygame is a framework, PyCora is a framework. Many 3D games can be developed using Python, right? But in C++, there are some limitations. You cannot go with those options. So like 3D rendering libraries available in Python. PySoy, there is a 3D rendering libraries like PySoy, Pygame, PyCora, right? Using which we can develop in the gaming sector also. Python is mostly used today, right?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Fine. Yes. What ID are we using in our further sessions, right? Yes, Yeshwant. So we'll be using PyCharm ID, but not only PyCharm, I'll be briefing you with other IDs like VS Code, Eclipse, Spider ID, right? But mostly used is PyCharm is the mostly used. I'll be briefing you with PyCharm ID, right? Yes. Yes. And wherever we go for installations, right, like database installation, IDs installations, many other like installations of Django framework, everything, right? So I'll be asking you to do parallelly along with me, right? You people, if you've got any errors or anything, you will be sharing the screen, your screen to me, right? I can be able to see your screens, and if any error occurs, will be rectified, right? Any installations, other things, right? Fine. Especially in that web applications creations, right? The sessions will be hands-on sessions. You will be doing parallel along with me in the case of web applications creations. Fine. Yeah, any other queries, right? Yes, tomorrow also people can attend the session to see more on this. Okay. But recently a morning session was started, right, at 6 o'clock. Yes, Prasad. Just 1 week back, a morning session was started at 6 o'clock. So as of now, this is the session, but later after you can see somewhere takes like 20 days or 15 days to start a new morning batch. Already at 6 o'clock, there is a batch started last week. Might be after 2 weeks at 8 o'clock like that, we can have a session. Not sure about it. Morning, like somewhere like 8 o'clock, it might be.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead. Got any queries?
Is there any basic knowledge required for Python?
So once again, yes, I forgot to discuss, right? So what are the prerequisites for Python? Means there is no prerequisites like you need to have the knowledge on C or knowledge on Java, right? Anybody from with zero programming or non-programming can update with Python. So everything I'll be discussing from the scratch ground level to the advanced level, right? So you can attend the sessions tomorrow and day after tomorrow. You can understand how our training goes, right? So keeping all the students in mind, right? I'll be going with the sessions, right? So that 100% you can understand the sessions. So from the scratch ground level to the advanced level, so the syntaxes of Python will be discussed. So Python syntaxes are little different as compared with other programming. So I'll be discussing those. It's everybody can update with Python. Not you need to have some knowledge on C or Java. Not a problem. You can update with Python.
Okay, thank you.
But only thing is to get command on this, right? Python, you need to just spend at least 1 hour to 1.5 hours, right? Daily, checking with the practicals and experimenting, right? The input, why like this, why not like that, right? You need to keep experimenting. And whenever you are doing practicals, right, you need to type it, right? Without seeing, you need to type the entire thing, entire program code and just check it, right? so that you will get the knowledge on it. And assignments and tasks anyhow I'll be providing you. You can work on it, right? Yes. Okay. People from programming or non-programming, right? Python is a simple, the statements look like normal English statements. Tomorrow session, you just attend it, you will get the idea, right? How these Python statements look. I'll just write a task in other programmings, and in Python, you can just check both the programming code, how simple the Python statements, right? Yeah. So, okay, if I am done with your queries, if there are no other queries, right? Okay, I'll just sign off for today. Meet you tomorrow, same time. You can follow the same link, right? So thank you all for your time. Thank you. Meet you tomorrow, right? Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.